Yo, hello everyone. Today it is June 12th, 2023. My name is Gabrielle M. Côté. My name is the Sphinx. How are you all doing? Yo, hello everyone. My name is Gabrielle M. Côté. My name is the Sphinx. How you doing? Today it is June 12th, 2023. I'm wearing my see-through blue lens glasses, pink hat, peace, love, music shirt. My cougar pants, cougar cheetah. My black hoodie. Vamp wolf flow, true love. Do 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 do. Okay, so I'm gonna improvise a video. Actually, I wrote a couple notes. Yesterday night, I wrote a couple notes on my piece of paper. I was all over the place. I want to make this video happen. Whatsoever, I'm just gonna let it go, let it flow. It's gonna flow how it flows. I've never told the story, so I'm gonna do my best to remain clear about the story I'm about to tell. And whatsoever, I could always reformulate the story to make it sound even better, to make it sound even more crispy, to make it feel even better. The story remains the story. The story goes how it goes. This video unfolds however this video unfolds. I enjoyed focusing also on the feeling, so the feeling of this story remains probably always the same. It's always a positive, light story. It's always just a okay story. It's my story. So, story time. Story time with Gabrielle Michel Côté. We are now the June 12th, 2023. I'm about to tell the story of how I got my period. Menstruation, period, blood out of the uterus. This is a story about how blood came out of my uterus. So, I would probably go back to primary school. Yes, so I was aware that periods existed. Maybe I saw a few advertisements online about periods. And also, I also had a physical class back in primary school, PE class, and yes, the teacher spoke a bit about sexuality. I was probably in 6th grade, and that's when the teacher opened up to all the kids about a little bit of sexuality and periods and etc., condoms, I don't know, babies and stuff like that back in primary school in 6th grade. So yes, I was aware that periods existed. I was a little bit educated, and when I started my period, I was in 6th grade. After I received a bit of knowledge on the subject, maybe I saw a few commercials and advertisements online for tampons and pads. I don't know, it was always uncomfortable to me to see tampons and pads advertisements online. It was like, I don't want my dad to see me watch a pad and tampon advertisement. It's kind of uncomfortable. Maybe you could feel fine, psychic, subconscious. I was happy I knew a little bit of stuff. What my dad did is he got me a book, a sexuality book, and he handed it to my brother and me. He got two. He got one for when I was more young, and he got one for when I was a little bit older, for when I was a bit of a child, prepubescent, and when I was more of a teenager. And he, first of all, gave it to my brother. He read the book, and it was just a sexual education book for little kids and prepubescent kids. Then the other one, when I was older, he allowed me to read the older sexuality book. And sometimes it had images about teenagers that go through puberty, like naked teenagers. I was like, whoa, there's naked teenagers in this book. It's like kids that go through puberty, and he let me look at naked, I don't know. It was a sexual education book, and I got to see like people that go through puberty and their pubes and stuff. But it was okay. It was good for me to be comfortable with sexuality. My parents did not speak to me about sexuality. They did not orally educate me about sexuality. It was always okay to speak about it. It's comfortable now to speak about it. My mom is a nurse. My dad is a paramedic. They're in the health field. They work at the hospital and stuff. But it was good too to have an impersonal book. He just gave me the book. I read the book. Yes, I had an interest. I was probably a bit like, whoa, rumors, drama, what's in this book? I read it like it was a novel with like Chris, whoa, naked people, that's a little crunch. I saw naked people in a sex book, crunch, It was interesting to see stuff like that. And pornography was online. So I saw some porn back in primary school because it was just available. And when I was in 7th and 8th grade, I would go for 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade. I saw porn on the internet with my friends, with my girlfriends. We just typed in porn on the internet and we went to check it out. But it was fine. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the story now. That's just a big parenthesis. So, this is the story of how blood came out of my uterus. So personally, I was 11 years old. It was the last year of primary school. I was in 6th grade in primary school. I was 11 years old. So what happened is that it just happened. I remember at first it just happened. I don't know, maybe it was not like each month. It was like, I don't know, irregular, and then it started becoming regular. So I'm going to go for one of my theories is that my mom transferred her energies onto me, then she no longer had hers. So what happened is that I started my period and my mom stopped hers around the same time. I remember my mom started dating this man that she met online, which became my stepfather. I don't know, he's not really my stepfather, he's just the boyfriend of my mom, they're not married. So my mom starting dating her new boyfriend, which eventually we moved in with him. She's still with him right now. Now I'm 24 years old. My mom is still with the same boyfriend. She started dating this boyfriend that she met online. He was abusive. I'm like, what do you want to stay with your boyfriend? Well, I think my mom has a little toxic string inside her head. I remember my mom telling me during COVID-19 that I was a sacrifice. Well, you are a sacrifice, my child. And I'm like, no, I got a beautiful life to live. I've been through a lot of things, and it felt like my mom was trying to play with my head a little bit. Maybe there's cruelty. My mom was born in 1966. There is cruelty. I'm not sure what's in your psychiatric mind, Mom. It's just cruelty. I have a beautiful, loving life to live, and yes, you're welcome to be a part of it. Hopefully, we'll get to see more clearly through this situation. And what happened is that my mom stopped having her period. I was getting bullied by the boyfriend of my mom, and then I started having my period back in 6th grade, and my mom stopped having hers. So when I started having my period back in 6th grade at 11 years old, my mom stopped having her period. She was, 40 years old, and she no longer had her period. So that was interesting. It felt like my mom transferred her luggage onto me. So how it went. So I was traumatized by my stepfather bullying me. I was like, my mom transferred her energies onto me, then she no longer had her period. So it was like at first, wow, blood out of my vagina, it stinks. This blood coming out of my uterus is really stinky. It has like strong little, I was like, I can't even breathe it. I'm like, puke. I was like, I want to block my nose. I was sitting on the toilet and I couldn't even breathe the stinky blood. I'm like, it's disgusting. It smells so bad. I can't even breathe it. So as the years went by, I just acclimated to the stink. It's just so stinky, but then you get used to the stinky blood smell. It stinks so bad. I was probably just so clean, so fresh, and then it started stinking. It just stinks in my underwear. My blood stinks. So my story is that at first I did not tell my mom. I did not tell my dad. I did not tell my mom. I did not tell any of my friends. I did not tell anyone that I started having some blood out of my uterus. So what I did at first is I used Kleenexes and toilet paper at first. I felt... So what they say nowadays that frustrates me is that girls feel embarrassed about the blood out of their uterus. I'm like, oh, it frustrates me. No, I do not want to feel embarrassed for you. It's like giving all the men like that privilege to not feel embarrassed. It's like giving men that privilege to feel superior while the little girls feel embarrassed. It's like giving all the boys that privilege to feel better about themselves, superior about themselves, while the little girls feel inferiorized and embarrassed. I hate that they would tell me, you're just a girl that feels embarrassed. I don't want to feel embarrassed. It doesn't feel good to feel embarrassed. I'm not prideful for feeling embarrassed. I want to be okay. I don't want to be not okay. I want to be okay. So that is emotional. They say that sometimes girls have a bunch of emotional luggage. Well, that is emotional. How you interpret and perceive the blood out of your uterus and how it went. How did it went when you started having blood out of your uterus? What was your experience? What are the feelings that you had once you started having blood out of your uterus? The interpretation, the perspective. Yes, it's emotional. Like they say, blood out of the uterus is connected to the moon and it has to do with feelings. It's witchcraft. It's a witchcraft in feelings and emotions. It's sensational. Maybe it's a sensational, sensorial demon that connects to our uterus when we're around puberty. You know, I've been encountering some sensorial, sensational, like, demons. I say demons, but calm down. I think that there are ghosts in the universe and in the galaxy that want some bodies. So what the ghosts do is sensorial, sensational. They try to connect to your uterus. You're just a little teenager. You're not even that old, and then they try to connect to your uterus. They're just like angels. I don't know, angels, demons. I'm like, blood out of my uterus could be a demon to me, or a angelic experience. But to be honest, I think that we don't need the blood out of your uterus. There's a bunch of interpretations and perspective on why do we bleed out of our uterus. Well, it's probably feeling that maybe it's sensational, sensorial. Maybe it could clear up. I would go for those animals that give consent. If you want any, it has to do with the reproduction system. So if any ghost in the universe wants to manipulate you inside your mind, inside your psyche, because they want a body, then it starts at a young age. Who are your babies? For example, myself. Who are your babies, Gabrielle? I'm just 11 years old. I'm not thinking of the babies because I'm 11 years old. I got a beautiful life to live ahead of me. I'm not going to want any babies at 11 years old. I got a beautiful life ahead of me. I got so much to live for. Why would I want any babies? I'm 11 years old. It has to do with the reproduction system. I think it has to do with manipulation from the afterlife. Because I think the ghosts and the spirits are able to connect to our panties. And then it starts bleeding. And it has to do with the reproduction system. Those ghosts, those spirits want bodies. And I'm sure there is a place for consent. You give the spirits consent. Maybe it could be even clearer. Maybe animals have it more clear and we could clear even better. Maybe we don't need to bleed out of our uterus and we can have a clear connection to the spirit that we let inhibit our body for it to materialize and become a body itself. The spirit, the ghost, becomes a body through a psychic consent, and you know who the baby is even before it's born, etc. Personally, I do not want any babies. I had my period, the blood out of my uterus at 11 years old. Now I'm 24 years old. Personally, I want to live wild and free and go have a good time. I want to go play basketball. I want to go at the pool, at the beach. I want to stay independent. I want to go for sexual pleasure for the win. Hopefully my future husband, my true love, goes to get a vasectomy. I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be played inside my psyche, my psychiatric mind. Because what if it's just happened? Oh, now you're pregnant, Gabrielle. Do you want to keep it? Then it plays in my psychiatric mind. If you start telling everyone that you're pregnant, they could start playing in your psychiatric mind, and it can manipulate you into keeping the baby that you didn't even want. So hopefully that my true love already got his vasectomy and it won't ever play in my psychiatric mind. Personally, I do not want to give birth. I think giving birth ruins your body. Unless it's a beautiful ecstasy experience, you could go give birth naturally in the woods. Go in the woods with the wildlife and give birth. Learn how to properly squat. You just gotta squat. Gotta squat like this. And then you learn how to naturally give birth. And as long as it heals perfectly, whatsoever, maybe we could create some baby machines. I personally do not want to give birth, and maybe I'm a ET, I'm an alien, I'm a blue blood. Maybe we could create some baby machines, because maybe giving birth is just way too cruel. So we got technology nowadays, we got computers. Well, maybe we could find the perfect balance and the perfect equilibrium in between nature, trees, and the new high-tech technology. So this is a laptop I got in front of me. It is technology. I'm sure that the laptop is connected to the afterlife. So no, you're not crazy. Technology is new. Running water, electricity. I think that electricity is connected to the afterlife and to the spirit world. Why not? I would call it robots. Maybe robots are like angels. Maybe in the afterlife it's a little different. So maybe that computers or objects that come from the afterlife, and we could find the perfect balance in between the afterlife, which is a different world, and the tangible physical world right here, right now. So maybe there is a mutual agreement. Maybe there are two worlds that we're gonna try to connect together to find the perfect equilibrium. Maybe that giving birth is purely just a cruel experience at the end of the day. I want to go have fun. I want to go party. I want to go have a good time. Maybe we could find the perfect equilibrium to make it last. Eternity, peace and love forever, a good time, heaven on earth, paradise on earth, etc. So those things are cool. I think that the electricity is just like the neurons in my brain. I got neurons in my brain, like electricity in my laptop. So my story is that I used Kleenexes and toilet paper at first. I did not tell anyone that I started having blood out of my uterus. So I felt embarrassed. No, what I would use is, I felt introverted. So, introverted. So, when they tell me that I'm embarrassed, I'm like, no, anger issues, because I'm introverted. If it was more extroverted to have blood out of her uteruses, well, maybe I'd be okay. But no, since it's not okay to be extroverted right away about it, then they force me to be embarrassed. I don't want to be embarrassed. They're forcing me to feel this type of way. So what I learned is that they force me to feel a certain type of way. So they're going to make me feel a certain type of way, so I'd rather remain introverted. So I'm not going to go out of my way to speak up about the blood out of my uterus, because they're going to make me feel a certain type of way. So I get to keep how I feel about the blood out of my uterus by remaining safe and secure inside my mind, by remaining introverted. So what I did is remain introverted. I did not want to go speak to my dad. I did not want to go speak to my mom about the blood out of my uterus, because I did not want them to make me feel any type of way. Was I embarrassed? Well, maybe they would make me feel a certain type of way, and I don't want them to make me feel that type of way. So I remained safe and secure inside my mind, and I did not want to go tell them. So what happened is that my mom found my dirty, bloody underwear in my room. They were accumulated. I just put them in a chunk in my room. Then she came to see me. I was watching TV in the basement. She came to see me. She told me that she found my dirty, bloody underwear. My bloody underwear in my room. She told me that she found my bloody underwear in my room. They were accumulating. I was watching TV. I was watching like SpongeBob SquarePants on the TV in the basement. And she told me, Gabrielle, I have to speak to you. I'm like, can you just tell me now? I had an instinct. So, Mom, what did you do? Did you find something? Do you know about something like... My instinct is that I thought that it was about the blood out of my uterus, and it just so happened to be about the blood of my uterus. So my brother was on the... I think that my brother was on the computer at the back, and I was just watching TV. My mom just came down. He had his headphones on, and I think he was on his computer. My mom was like, Gabrielle, do you want to come with me? I want to talk to you. And I'm like, Mom, I'm just watching TV. Can you just tell me? And it was not too interesting. It's just like, I think a few words. We exchanged a few words, like a sentence or two, and that was it. It wasn't too interesting. So what happened is that I was just like light and funny and smiling. I enjoyed playing the cute kid. I was playing with my dog not too long ago. Nothing really changed. I was just playing with my dog. I was just watching TV. I was just being a kid. I went to play in the pool. I went for walks with my dog. And I was just like, can you just tell me? I was playing innocent and okay. Can you just tell me just now through a few sentences what you have on your mind? And my mom just told me through a few sentences like, yeah, I found your underwear in your room. And then I was like, oh, okay. I was just smiley because I wanted to know how my mom feels about the bloody underwear in my room. My mom was not like smiling about the bloody underwear in my room because it was kind of a like feeling. It was kind of a feeling like, I don't know, it was just a feeling of, it's not a fun, opened up, it was a closed down feeling. It was not just like a opened up feeling, but it was just over. So I found your underwear in your room, and that's it, that's all. There's nothing to it. It's okay, you'll be fine. My mom did buy me a few pads, she did buy me a few tampons, and that's it, that's all. Nothing really happened. All you have to do is buy your kids some tampons, buy your kids some pads. You don't have to make me feel any type of way. My mom did not make me feel any type of way. It was just the feeling of, that's how it is, that's it, that's all. Now you are starting to bleed out of your uterus. I found your underwear in your room. And you know that I found your underwear in your room. All we're going to do is we're just going to go to the pharmacy and buy you some pads, some tampons. There's nothing to really exchange. She did not exchange any feelings with me. It was just over. Okay. She told me that she knew that I started bleeding. Then nothing happened. I smiled cutely, funny, but no, my mom was not feeling smiley about it. She was not smiling about the blood out of my uterus, but it was just a insensitive, it's over. Like nothing to it, it's over. Moving on. You're just gonna use pads, tampons, it's over, life goes on. Nothing changes, nothing really happens. So okay, moving on. So before that my mom knew, I think that my mom found my bloody underwear in the summer after I graduated school. So in the summer that I graduated primary school and I was going to 7th grade in high school, that's probably when she found that's probably when she found the bloody underwear in my room. Because I remember that in my primary school 6th grade graduation, we went in front of everyone. Like all of our parents were in the gymnasium and we went to sing in front of our parents, like the little classmates of my year 1998. We went to sing in front of all of our parents for the 6th grade graduation. I remember for the 6th grade graduation in primary school, I was on my period and I had blood out of my uterus. I was bleeding out of my uterus for the 6th grade. For the 6th grade graduation from primary school. And I was wearing some white pants and I was wearing a blue top, some white pants. It was the 6th grade graduation from primary school. My mom did not know yet that I was bleeding, and neither did my dad, and I did not tell them. And I had blood out of my uterus, and what I did is put some Kleenex and some toilet paper in my underwear, and I did not want to tell my mom, and I did not want to tell my dad. It was a bit nerve-wracking. What if the blood really starts leaking out of my underwear because I'm just wearing some Kleenex? And then it was nerve-wracking. I did not want to tell anyone, and I kept it inside. I just left some Kleenex and some toilet paper, and what I did is just pretend that it's not even there. So I was a little bit paranoid that I was going to start bleeding and that it would stain my white pants. So we were singing in front of all of the we were singing in front of all of our parents, all of the 1998 classmates. We were in front of everyone singing in the gymnasium in front of all of our classmates. I was paranoid because of my Kleenex and my underwear. I was bleeding in my underwear. There is blood out of my uterus. Nobody knows yet. So what I did is, when we were singing in front of all of our parents, I was like looking around paranoid, like, oh my god, that's all I had in my psychiatric mind. I'm bleeding out of my uterus and everyone is singing, and I was like there in front of all of the parents with the rest of my classmates, like singing like paranoid, like la 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 la. I'm just thinking of the blood out of my uterus in front of all of my parents. And then what you had to do is go shake like the teacher's hand, and she hands you a fake diploma, a fake primary school diploma. And what I did before going to shake the teacher's hand, while we were singing like la 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 la, we're singing in front of all of the parents, we're singing in front of all of the parents, all of the classmates together, is that I turned around and I asked the girl behind me, hey, are my pants white or dirty? Like, hey, is there blood? I asked calmly enough, is there blood behind my, like, is there blood on my butt? Like, do you see, like, blood on my white pants? Does it show? Do you see some blood on my white pants? And then she said, no, you're fine. You're fine. Because I asked the girl behind me, I was paranoid. We're all singing in front of all of the parents. All I'm thinking of is the blood out of my uterus and how I used some Kleenexes and some toilet paper, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm paranoid. And I turn around and ask the girl behind me, hey, is there blood like on my pants? Are my white pants red? Do you see some red on my white pants? Do you see some blood on my white pants? And she said, no, I don't. So I'm like, good, I'm happy you don't see some blood on my white pants. While everyone is singing in front of all of the parents, then I just stayed calm. I was introverted. Nobody knows what's inside of me. Nobody knows what's going inside of me. I'm just freaking paranoid and freaking out. I just walked calmly to the teacher. I shook her hand. I took the diploma and I walked back to the classmates. That's it. I had a placid face. No, you cannot tell how I'm feeling inside. No, you don't know what's going inside my mind. I'm introverted. You won't get to mess with my feelings more than this. Then, when summer came along, that's when my mom found my bloody underwear in my room. Besides that, another experience that I lived when I was in 6th grade in primary school, before the 6th grade graduation in primary school, yes, something traumatizing did happen to me. So we were in school, we were in school, I wasn't in class, we were about to go for a presentation. So I'm going to speak about oral presentations just a bit. Oral presentations were a little bit stressful to me, not just laid back. However, I remember that one time I got to read a book in front of the whole class. So the goal was to read a story from a book in front of the whole class. All you got to do is memorize a story inside your head. I was in 3rd grade in primary school. I went for an oral presentation. It went well. I wanted even more attention. I'm like, whoa, I love oral presentations. I want even more attention. I loved having some attention on me because I'm a Leo. I'm like, whoa, getting some attention is so fun. I was in front of the class. I remember practicing the story by myself inside my room. It was 3rd grade. Maybe it was 4th grade. 4th grade of primary school. And I remember reading a story about the brother. The story is The Little Red Riding Hood, but it's the alternative story where it's about the brother of the Little Red Riding Hood and the brother of the Big Bad Wolf. And I read that story in front of the whole class. I'm the one that memorized the story by myself at home inside my room. I got to read the story out loud. My mom was like, whoa, what are you doing? Are you going crazy? You're speaking to yourself in your room. I heard you speaking to yourself in your room. I'm like, yeah, Mom, I'm just learning a story that I'm going to have to present in front of the whole class. So what I did is read the story out loud a few times inside my room, and I had to present the story to the whole class. And then what I did is present the story to the whole class back in 4th grade in front of the whole class, and I just had a good experience. The kids were laughing, so I was telling the story. It was just inside my psychiatric mind. I was sending out my psyche of the story to the whole class, and sometimes they were laughing at the jokes of the story, and I had a good time, and I enjoyed the attention that I got for the oral presentation. And at the end, I'm like, whoa, I want even more attention. The oral presentation was amazing. I want to get even more attention. So I enjoyed the attention from that oral presentations. However, when I grew older, I'm like, whoa, oral presentations are so stressful. I was shaking. I remember going to a boarding school. I was shaking in front of everyone. Or I remember, like, when I was in 7th and 8th grade, I'm like, whoa, oral presentations? Like, no. It wasn't in front of different people. I guess it depends who are the people. I don't know. So I found oral presentations in 7th and 8th grade just fine, but like, nah. But when I went to the boarding school, it was even worse. I was shaking. I was like, whoa, oral presentations are so bad. I don't want to do a fucking oral presentation. It's the worst thing ever. So I'm going to get back to the story. So that one time, I had to do a oral presentation in 6th grade. It was about like, if we were playing a weird like government presentation, so there was like people voting. I don't know, it was a presentation about government. I don't know, government, people voting, stuff like that. And what happened is that we had a school teacher replacement that day, and she told me like, Gabrielle, you have blood on your pants. I was on my period. You have blood on your pants. It shows at the back. I was wearing some capri pants, and all I did is take my gym bag, and I'm like, I was dismissed. So what they did is I don't have to do the oral presentation. I was like, cool, because I don't even want to do the oral presentation. The oral presentation was like about voting, government, stuff like that. It was a little bit confusing in my mind. I'm not even sure what they're doing. I was just dismissed from the oral presentation. All I had to do is grab my gym bag, and I went to the washroom, and I put my gym shorts on, and I went back to class, and I did not even have to do the oral presentation. Like, at least it's the school teacher replacement. At least it's not the real teacher, because you have to see the real teacher each day. The school teacher replacer, the school teacher replacement, you just see her one day and you never see her ever again. So she allowed me to go put my gym shorts on. I went back to class, and life went on, and I never saw her again. I don't think that any of the classmates that I used to be with saw my bloody pants. Maybe one did. It played a bit in my head. Did he saw my bloody pants? Who knows? But the school teacher replacement just told me, and I went to put my gym shorts on, and I don't know, it just went away. I was fine. Okay, so I stayed introverted until I had the feeling to send out a positive vision about my periods. So I did not want to accumulate a bad feeling about periods, so I stayed introverted about it. Like right here, right now, I feel comfortable enough to send out a positive vision. Now I'm being extroverted about the blood out of my uterus, but back then I was introverted about the blood on my uterus. I did not want to hurt my feelings, so I think that I could have hurt my feelings by speaking up about it when I was young because I was not protected, or psychiatrically I don't think that I was like too tough, and I could have gotten some hurt feelings about it. You know, I don't want to get too hurt emotionally, because if I got super hurt, maybe I wouldn't be here today presenting this video that I'm doing right now. If I got super hurt emotionally about the blood out of my uterus, maybe I wouldn't be here presenting right here right now a video about the blood out of my uterus in such an extroverted way. If I got hurt when I was young about the blood of my uterus, which I did because I stayed safe and secure inside, I stayed introverted about it, you know, maybe I wouldn't be here being such an extrovert about it, because now that I have a okay feeling, now that I feel safe to open up, now what I'm doing is opening up about the blood of my uterus because I feel safe and confident to do it. Now I feel safe and confident to open up and to become an extrovert about the blood out of my uterus. It is no longer a psychiatric problematic. Now I'd say, okay, my psychiatric mind. Recently, yes, it has been a bit of a psychiatric problematic, because it had to do with everyone that was affecting me from the internet. It felt like people around the world could affect me psychiatrically through the internet. So I put some videos online. It feels like they could connect their psychiatric minds to mine. It's psychic, and they could affect how I feel about it, but at least I'm home and secure. At least I'm 24 years old. I'm not gonna get bullied by everyone online, because on top of that, I educated myself. I made a few research when I was a teenager. About blood out of other girls' uterus and how they feel about it. How are they speaking about the blood out of their uterus? And I was inspired to be positive and confident and strong about it. So what I'm doing right now is feeling confident about opening up, about speaking up about it. I feel safe enough to speak up about it, to be an extrovert about it. And I'm sending out all of the positive vibes. I want it to be a positive visualization, a positive experience. I want paradise on earth. I want a good experience, a good lifetime. So it is also an emotional experience. So the blood out of our uterus are connected to the moon. So the blood that comes out of our uterus is a cycle connected to the moon. It's the emotional experience. So what I want to do is, my emotional experience, I want it to be a good emotional experience. I want to be happy. I want to be positive. I want to be happy. I want to be a light, fun feeling. I want to be cute. I want to be happy. I want to be a light, fun feeling. I want to be sunshines and rainbows. So my feelings and my emotions about the blood out of my uterus are very positive. I do not want any negative feelings about the blood out of my uterus. I just want some positive, utopist, light, fun, rainbows and sunshine feelings, emotions about it. And now that I'm an extrovert, I'm going to keep reinforcing that I want it to be positive, because I feel safe and secure and confident to do so. Yes, I was introverted about it when I was young. Now I feel safe to open up and to be extroverted and to keep solidifying and reinforcing positivity. So, okay. Anything else that I wanted to say? I think that sums it up. Thank you everyone for watching. This was a story time about the blood out of my uterus. This was a story time about what we call nowadays periods and menstruations. My name is Gabrielle Michel Côté. My name is the Sphinx. My name is Gabrielle Michel Côté. My name is the Sphinx. Today you have just heard and witnessed a story about the blood out of my uterus, about the experience that I had bleeding out of my uterus, about how it went inside my head. From when I started bleeding out of my uterus at 11 years old. I was a little bit educated on the subject back then. It went fine. What I enjoyed doing when I was bleeding out of my uterus, and mainly used some pads. I was just using some casual pads you find at the pharmacy. I was not too into tampons. I'm like, tampons are there for me if I want to. I don't have to if I don't want to. I was enjoying, for the most part, just a pad. And that was it. You just dispose the pad, you move on. It did not really change anything to my life when I was a teenager. I was healthy. I did not have any menstrual cramps for the most part. I was just disposing my periods. I moved on with my life. It did not change anything to my life for the most part. Maybe I was lucky. And that's it. I just got to move on. Now I'm 24 years old. I'm making a video about periods and plaids, about the blood out of my uterus. I'm an extrovert about it. If there's a problem that comes to me, I solve it because it's just psychiatric. I want to have a beautiful life, a beautiful experience. What I think of the blood out of my uterus, it has to do with emotions, sensations. It has to do with the moon cycle. It has to do with the moon cycle and feelings, emotions. And there's a bunch of interpretations and perspectives. There's a bunch of interpretations and perspectives about the blood out of our uteruses, and I think that it's just how it is. However, maybe we'll get to reformulate whatever it means to us as human beings, and that's it. That's all. Do I think that it's necessary to bleed out of our uteruses? No. Personally, no, I don't think that it's necessary. However, it's just how it is. I am a citizen just like anybody else. And to be honest, maybe if nobody was bleeding out of their uteruses, neither would I. So if it's a disease, a demon, a sensational disease that I caught at 11 years old, like everyone, maybe I was feeling too introverted and repressed as my gender. I was not the guy going around feeling super extroverted, and maybe that's why I was not being a Leo all the way. In primary school, I was also being introverted, and maybe if I was super extroverted, dancing around, no problems, maybe it wouldn't even happen to me, that blood out of our uteruses. Maybe if I was truly wild and free growing up, I would not even bleed out of my uterus. However, we're in 2023, it's just how it is. I was born in 1998, I'm 24 years old, I think that I got a good lifetime to live. There is gender equality here for me, human rights, and I'm allowed to not have kids. I'm allowed to not get married. If I get married, it's for my true love. It's a feeling to get married. It's true love, not forceful. And besides that, I get to go live life and have a good time. We're in 2023. Whatsoever, despite all of this, I get to go live life and have a good time. I won't be forced to have some kids. I could get peer pressured and manipulated into having kids, or I could really give my consent. I could really give my consent, but no, I don't want to. I want to go have a good time. That is, for me, there's a bunch of perspective and interpretations on childbearing. Personally, I want to produce some videos for YouTube. I want to remain mindful of everyone. I want to be respectful. I want to be a good lead, a good impact, a good influence. I want to do what's right. I want to say what's right while keeping being fun, keep being a good feeling. So I want to keep sending out some positive vibes, positive, loving, light vibes, being a good feelings, having a good emotional impact. Thank you all for watching. Freedom of speech and expressions. This is freedom of speech and expressions. Have a good time. Thank you all for watching. Peace and love. Woo! Peace. Have a beautiful day. This has been Gabrielle M. Côté de Sphinx. Today is June 12th, 2023. Bye.